Hi everybody, this is Matthew with QR Print with a more fulsome demo of how QR Print works. So let's get started. I have with me right here a printer that's all set up for QR Print. You can see it has the QR Print sticker right here. This is what a patron taps their phone on when they're ready to print something out. Typically you put it on the front of the printer, but I've put it right here just for ease of access. This is all powered by this QR Print network appliance, which is really just a coaster-sized mini computer that plugs into the back of the printer and makes it available via the QR Print app. So the most common use case we see are patrons who walk into the library and they have a phone and they have a document on their phone that they want to print out directly from their phone. So the way you can help them get started is by helping them add the QR Print app to their phone. Fortunately, this is very easy. All they have to do is to tap their phone on the QR Print sticker. When they do that, it sends them to this website, which has a big button that says Download on the App Store. Now, when they tap this button, it sends them to the QR Print page in the App Store, where they can add the app. There. Now the app's been added to their phone. That took about 15 seconds. So, as you can see on the screen, down at the bottom right, the blue QR Print icon. The app is there. So, at this stage, if I'm a patron and this is my phone, I'm ready to create my first print job. So, let's say I have an email with an email attachment and I want to print that out. So, what I do is I open up the email, open up the document, and down at the bottom left is the share button. It looks like a square with an arrow coming out of the top. When I tap that, it brings up the share sheet. And on the share sheet is a button that says Print with QR Print. If I tap that button, it takes that document and creates a print job for it. There. Okay, perfect. So I've got my phone with a print job on it. The print job's on my phone. I'm ready to print it out. So as a patron, all I have to do is to tap my phone on this library printer. That brings up this sheet with all my print options on it, number of copies, black and white or color, if your printer supports color, and I can submit it just by tapping the big blue submit button. There it is. So that's how a patron can use the QR Print app to print directly from their phone. But patrons don't always want to print directly from their phone. Sometimes they want to print from a library computer or from a home computer, and QR Print makes that easy. So what you need for that to work on a computer requires the QR Print desktop app, which is a tiny app which is available for free on our website, getqrprint.com. If you add the app to a computer, it creates a virtual printer called QR Print. And when a patron uses that virtual printer to print something out, it creates a print job in the QR Print system for them. So I've got the desktop app installed on this computer right here that I'm using for recording, and I can show you exactly how that works. So let's assume for a minute that I'm a patron. I'm working on a library computer. I've got my document open and I'm ready to print it out. So I just do the typical Windows printing flow. And when I get to the print preview, you can see that there's a printer named QR Print. That's the virtual printer. So when I click this print button, it's going to create a print job for me. So there it is. It just created a print job for me. As you can see, it's showing me a QR code. Now, that print job that I created is on this library computer right here. I need to transfer it to my phone, and the way I do that is by scanning that QR code with my phone. Just like that. So that transferred that print job from the computer to my phone. And now that I've got it on my phone, all I need to do to print it out is to tap my phone again on a library printer. Just like that. And there it is. So that's how a patron can print using QR print from a computer, whether it's their home computer or a library computer. But the question we get a lot is, what if a patron doesn't have a phone? Can they still use QR print? And the answer is yes, they can. They need to print from somewhere, so they need to print from a library computer. But they can print in very much the same way that I just demonstrated, with a little tweak at the end. So why don't I share my screen again, and I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm a patron who doesn't have a phone, and I'm working from a library computer. I want to print this out, so I do what I did before. I create a print job. Now, it's created my print job, and it's showing me a QR code, but I can't scan that QR code because I don't have a phone. What I can do is I can go down to this button right here that says don't have a phone. When I click that, it gives me a job ID, which is 521, and a security code. Now, as a patron, I can write these numbers down, and I can take them to the front desk and have a library staff member release my print job for me. So let's assume that I do that. Let's copy this security code. Let's remember that my job ID is 521. And let's say that I take that to the desk, but let's reverse roles right now. Let's assume that I'm a library staff and I'm working the desk. So a patron approaches me and they have a job ID and they have a security code. They give that information to me. Now what do I do with it? Well, I go into the QR print console, which is the web-based administrative console for this printer that we're working with. I can take that information and go to the menu and click on Phoneless Print and enter it right there, 521, and then the security code, and I can release that print job for the patron. Now, if you charge for printing, the pricing will be down here, and you can accept payment at that stage before releasing the print job, just like this. So that's how a patron can print using QR print even if they don't have a phone. So that's a little bit more detail about how QR print works for both the user and library staff. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, again, this is Matthew with QR Print, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.